Well, I just wanted to tell everybody, I don't know if you know about this site. I've been using it on again and off again for the past 5+ years, called Pen Pal Schools.
Mhm.
Has anybody ever used it?
Yeah, I used to.
Oh, okay. I've found that in these times it to be a really great resource, just because the kids can kind of like do stuff on their own and self-paced.
I
They've
found
been,
something the other day called iExcel, and I found it for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And
yeah,
it's been a free trial right now. I'm not very familiar with it aside from looking at it, but it looks great.
I've been using it for my 1st and 3rd grade
Mhm.
sons, and it's a good site. A lot of the districts have already purchased it for like math and ELA, so
Mhm.
maybe they could also use it for social studies
Mhm.
if the school's already bought it for that.
Right.
We purchased it for English and math, but it's a hefty price tag when you get all 4 core areas.
Gotcha.
But every teacher that I've ever had use it loves it.
Yeah.
So what are some of the themes that we're working on? As for us, we're going to be doing Asia.
Yeah.
I'm debating on whether to do Australia or just go back to map skills for the next couple weeks.
I've been doing like daily maps, and they're all on Europe. If you type in like interesting maps in Europe and you click images, there's all different, like one was how many hours a week people in Europe by country work. One was the amount of billionaires in each European country. So I use one of those per day that they have to look at and examine and answer questions to. So I kind of feel like those are sort of map skills, and analytical skills, while still sticking with Europe. And then when I get to Asia, I'll look for similar ones.
That's a good idea, because like Gabriel said, we have to do our Edgenuity lessons, and then I was gonna post something in Google Classroom that was maybe a little more engaging than the awesome program that they bought for us. But I like that idea of just practicing reading maps.
I can post them into the files on the Facebook page, I guess.
Oh, awesome.
I think I can do that, right?
Yeah.
That's great.
I use
Thank you.
Lizard Point maps.
Yeah, those are
where
good.
you can customize like a region, and they really like that. They don't seem to retain a lot of the information, but they still point to the sky and tell me that's north, so we may have to do maps.
On Lizard Point, can you make your own map?
You can copy one and then customize it. There is some paid version stuff, but I don't do that.
So you copy something?
You copy an existing map, and then you can decide how many countries or what features you want on it.
Oh, I'll have to play around with it.
Have you done much of GeoCetter, where you can actually make it's very limited and it requires like basically Google Earth some kind of skills.
GeoCetter?
Yeah, I think it's SETR.
Get a pencil.
And you can make that. However, I think you're limited to like I think 5 plots. Russell Tarr has something called Classroom Tools, and it's not very tech friendly, but it's definitely where you could do like relative location. I think they do a treasure hunt.
Has anyone ever used, it has different names, ArcGIS or AirSea?
Yes.
That I just purchased, or not purchased, there it was free, got for my students like their own names that they can create the maps. So I'm just kind of like playing around with that now. I've done like their, what do they call them, geo inquiries before, and those are really insightful.
Right. And you can do a site license as large as your school is, and if your
That's
school is Title I, it's just programming them all. I did it before. It was not so much fun.
Really, that's where I'm at. I'm like, I'm not sure I want to get into this virtually right now, but
But for setting up for next year,
yeah. Has anyone found the best way? Maybe this is the lizard point that I need to look into for customizing, but for having them, like in real life, I might give them a map of Europe or Asia with to like number the countries or landforms. Have you found any way to do that? I've seen people do it. Do you know what I mean? Like if I want them to label the Danube River or know where the United Kingdom is.
You could do something like that in Google Drawing.
Google
I was
put the
going to say
map.
that too.
I was going to say either Google Drawing, or what you can do is take, if you have a picture of it already, you can make it a background in a PowerPoint,
Okay.
a Google slide, and then they
Yeah.
can't mess with it. And then you just have them add the text that you want, but they can't
Go back to
alter
your seat.
the picture.
Okay.
You can't even move it.
Another
Because you can set it as a background and send it out to the kids. That's how I've done it already, and they've really liked it because they don't mess with it at all, and it's just stuck there. So that's kind of
Okay.
how I've done it.
Okay.
Also
I do,
quizzes.
and then I put text boxes off to the side of the slide with the labels I want them to use, and then they can just drag the text box to the feature.
How do you make a text box outside the slide?
I mean, you can just like make it here on the slide, and then you just like, I like to label the map myself, like, and save an answer key so that I can send it out later. But then before I send it to the students, I move it all around. And then when I assign it in Google Classroom, they just have to move the text boxes where they belong. And then later I'll send out the answer key for them to check. But you can move the slides, you can move the text boxes off to the side so they don't show up in a presentation, but when they're actually working in the slide, they can see it off to the side. And I always put instructions in the speaker notes so they can see those.
Oh, okay. And when you, like, we use this thing called Schoology, but it's pretty much like Google Classroom. So when you would assign that to them, you would make it like one for each student, like a copy for each? That's how you would do that?
Yeah, I do a copy for each student, and then they just move it around on there. And I like doing that because then it doesn't matter if they don't turn it in. Like, I can see their work, you know, what they've done so far anyway, so I can check.
Would you mind sharing one of those in the group drive?
Yeah, I've got a real simple geography one already made, and all the text boxes are kind of scattered. I think I have an answer key saved too, and it's just over all the 6th grade world history locations that we studied. So there's different, like India, where's the Indus River, and where's the Yellow River in China, and they just have to like drag the stuff to where it is. So it's like 10 slides.
That would be, if you could load that just for like a copy to see. And
yeah, actually, I think I put it in the shared drive.
Oh, okay.
That Gabriel sent out to everybody. But if I can share it like again, so it's like fresh.
Okay. In that drive or on the Facebook page?
What is that drive that you shared with us, Gabriel, that you created?
Social Studies Network Drive at gmail.com.
Okay. I'll look in there. What might be the name of that doc?
Let me look it up while you guys are doing this, and I can even like share my screen and show you guys what I'm talking about. So let me get it out of my drive. Hold on.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Have you tried ThingLink at all? You can have it made and also have the kids make it. I love using ThingLink because you can link it to maps. And I'll have an example of it. Yes, ThingLink. And I'll share an example with it shortly as we get into like resources for our particular assignment. But it's great. So say, for example, when I was in the Middle East, I was a Fulbright scholar. And I did a lot of things like as far as Jordan. So I post videos, I post all the assignments, some of my interviews. I'll share what we created while over there as well later.
My students also like to make Google Maps. So since I don't have access to paper and pencil for them right now, instead of having them label maps by hand, they're going to create a Google map, probably for our Asia unit. I've created one for them to learn from for the Middle East unit. But that they enjoy that, and that way they can actually see the topography when they're labeling the physical features too.
So I've used Google My Maps and Google Tour Builder. Is just regular Google Maps different than those?
No,
My Maps
it's Google
is
My Maps.
Google My Maps?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Can you guys see this Google slide right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so this is just a working Google Doc and each kid gets their own copy. And so this would be like the title slide. And then on the next page, I have them, these are just text boxes that they can move around the North Atlantic Ocean. We'll obviously go right there. But I kind of just put them off to the side. And they don't have to be on the slide. And you can see in the instructions, I tell them what to do. But just different areas that we studied that I thought that they needed to know. And so here's like a bigger one. It's kind of messy, but like I put it together real quick for them. So they would
I like that.
They would just move stuff where they think it needs to go. And then this is the answer key that I later send out for them. So all the text boxes are in the correct spot for the different places that we studied.
That's great. I'll do that. Thank you.
No problem. And it's called Geography Practice, and it's in the shared drive if you guys want to use that.
Okay,
but I
thank
can
you.
send it wherever you guys want me to send it again.
So aside from mapping, what are some of the other assignments for demonstration of knowledge?
I've been assigning some brain pops for the kids who have internet access. But I'm kind of torn between about a fifth of the kids don't have internet at home. So I need to do something that's an equivalent assignment. So I've been making the exact same assignment, but I printed the, I took screenshots of the brain pop video and made it like a comic with what was being said because they have a transcript. So I gave them like a comic version of the video and then had them do the quiz that I made on paper. But I'm having a hard time going back to paper for the kids who don't have access.
That's tough.
Because if we're in my classroom, everything's online. I have all these tools, we're ready to go, but it's hard to go back to undigitize things without killing mass trees and paper to send home.
So
what's the return rate on it though, out of curiosity?
Well, the first week that we sent stuff home, we delivered it with buses and meals, but now that this building is shut down and the county shut down, nobody's getting paper. So we are supposed to take a picture of the assignment, email it to the parents. The kid works on it on their own paper at home, scratch paper, and then send pictures back. So that's not going well. And I'm trying to get people to understand that, do you understand how much data this is going to use for secondary kids who have 7 teachers and 2 to 5 assignments a week? I mean, we're talking about a lot of data that some people may not be able to afford. And like I got a slew of emails this morning with pictures, 1 picture at a time, and I can't really see the students work very well. So I'm hoping we come up with some different solution.
Hey, if you are having to take pictures of their work, can you send out a tutorial? If they have Apple phones, if they use the camera in the notes, it scans it. And
Well,
it's a scanner. So, I mean, I don't know, like if you wanted to send something for those kids, like if they had that option, that would be a way to clear it up. But I don't know. I mean, I know not everybody has an Apple phone, but I know that's one way that some of our kids have gotten around that is using that camera in the notes section.
Well, I'm trying to get my 7th grade team to realize we probably should have all the assignments listed in one doc, like the elementary teachers. They had, this chart of what each subject area is supposed to do, because I see it getting overwhelming for secondary parents to suddenly keep track of all these assignments with their kids. And I had a parent who didn't know that history is social studies, so I'm waiting to get back actual work.
I've been making videos for my students. Have you guys been?
A little bit.
I would like
I
to,
had
except for with the whole mandate that we all have to use Edgenuity.
Oh.
The kids are no more than 3 hours a day, and then we're limited to 30 minutes, and those 30 minutes are going to be focused on whatever the district puts together, but then we have to do like additional supports. However, they can't go over the 30 minutes. I have tons of resources, and I'm going to share some resources today, but it's kind of like they want equity for every school and every teacher, so they're designed everything.
It's very limiting. I agree.
Yeah.
So does it cut them off at the 3-hour usage mark?
The 30 minutes, like, and then if they go on to the next, but we have to go in and approve their materials, and if they don't do them to our standards, then we're the ones who are going to be responsible for grading, and we still have to do lesson plans for it. But as far as units, like, things that we've done in the past, like Chrissy, Ashley, and I have taught the same subject for quite some time. And, I assume that it's going to be a lot of the same kind of things, like, for example, comparing and contrasting the Koreas, Chinese inventions, the 5 themes of geography, human environment interaction, the Silk Road, all of these different kinds of things that, we have resources for. Who knows, as far as like Central Asia, there's something new this year. I haven't seen much beyond like the geography of Central Asia. However, I did find materials from Hemispheres at the University of Texas at Austin that I'll be willing to share the links to that later today as well. What are some of the resources that you have a lot of, or you could share with people, and or what are some things that you need so we can help stockpile everybody?
This isn't really necessarily a resource, but if I've told my students in the past that if they have Instagram, I gave them a list of different people to follow. Like this one guy, Drew Binsky, travels the world. Now I know they're not traveling right now, but some of them are posting old stories. And this one guy, I'll have to send a list to you all. I mean, it's absolutely fascinating. He went to all these different countries in West Africa, and he really just goes and spends time there and learns the history of the places. They're really interesting stuff on Instagram for people to follow, to have your kids do it.
Please send that. That sounds awesome.
Okay. I'll make a list.
Not to be a pain, but I kind of got lost. What question are we on?
The resources that you have, number 3. What do you have resources that you can share with, and what do you need help with? And obviously, every day is a new day, and the curriculum is shifting, and the materials are shifting, and what we're sending out and receiving. It's funny, like at the start of the day you have this lesson, and by the end of the day it's been trash canned for something else.
Yeah, I just got told I'm not teaching any new curriculum for the rest of the year, and I almost like fell off my chair. I was like, what? They're like, stop with the Massachusetts Social Studies standards. You're going to do review for the rest of the year. And I almost cried. Like I just did an extension learning unit on East Asia. My last hurrah was my choice board that uses Flipgrid and 10 choices.
It seems silly. I mean, I guess I could see for like math maybe, but like
I have no choice. Yeah. So I'm going to continue to go back and ask and be like, are you sure I can't teach about Australia this year? Really?
Right.
I mean, is it really going to hurt them to study new primary sources for, whatever unit you might have been? I mean, it's the same. There's analyzing primary sources. Like she said, math is one thing, but like we're analyzing sources. Like,
no, I'm going to go
back
to
over and over.
Right.
I mean, it's the 5 things of geography in every unit. It's landforms and climate in every unit. Technically, that's review, right?
Right. True. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll ask my principal, but it comes from the state, so.
But
I've gotten the same in Iowa too. We can't teach any new materials, which is frustrating because, there's a lot that I didn't get to this year. But one funny thing is I just we did not quite finish. We still have our debate. We were prepping for it before spring break, but we just did world diseases, and we were learning about all of the pandemics throughout history. So my kids have this really, I assigned them keep a journal of like what's going through their mind to use as a primary source in the future. And I can share all of that stuff too, if you'd like. I have a Google Drive full of sources that I've used in activities, which a lot of them, if you are able to do like new content, it's pretty interesting stuff, and my kids really liked that unit.
Did it scare them?
I think they feel, well, because I Zoom with them. I'm in an elementary school, clarify too, like the 6th grade in my school district is elementary. So I Zoom with them every day at 1. And I check in with them, and a lot of them, I feel like they feel a little bit better about all of this because they have studied it prior. And yeah, I don't know. I think I was worried about that too, because when we started studying it, it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
It just became this big deal.
Yeah.
I had just covered AIDS, HIV, and Ebola in Africa just before school was out. So we talked about the spread, and at that time, Corona was just coming out of China a little bit. But my kids were okay with it because A, they like the gross stuff, and B, most of history is horrible war and death all the time. It's like 1,000 Ways to Die is really the title of my class. So I think they're kind of okay with this, and it's not, I don't think they see it as so much as this is crazy. This was inevitable. It's happened kind of before.
Well, and some of the videos that we watched, if you guys ever watch John Green's video series, I can't think of the name right now, but he talks about like how a big pandemic like this is inevitable, and that was written a couple years ago.
I love Crash Course.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
I wish it was more appropriate for middle school kids, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a couple parts where I'm like, okay, we're gonna stop. Go fast forward.
If you are those videos on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah. Crash Course in History by John Green.
I haven't used Edupuzzle, but if you use that, can't you like
You can
manipulate
flip it out.
it?
Yeah.
Is that what you? Okay.
Yeah.
You can also clip it out in Google. Like if you put in with the video link, you can tell in Google like you want it to be from like 1 minute to 3 minutes, and it just makes that clip available. And you can share it like that.
I also use Screencastify to introduce the video and then play a clip from the video, and then I summarize it again at the end so that I get a little bit of the framing, so I can frame it the way that it fits into the class. And Screencastify lets you do, I mean, it's short. Screencastify is only allowing you to do 5-minute clips right now, but I talk for 30 minutes, have a 3-minute video clip from YouTube, and then I talk, but for 30 seconds. Then I follow up with 30 seconds afterwards. Then it's a brief enough video that my middle school guys can wrap their heads around it.
That's a good idea.
I've broken up YouTube videos into Google Slides because they can't just watch 12 minutes. They're not gonna stay focused. So I had to break it up in chunks, explain what was happening, because I did that for Gilgamesh, because that's a wild story. There's a lot going on. We gotta break it down.
So you put the video in Google Slides?
Yes, and you can do a time. So I want these 2 minutes of this video. I have some stuff on the slide, and the next slide is going to be from 2:30 to 4:26. You can break it up.
And you break it up in Google Slides?
So I insert the video on the slide, and I say, just play 30 seconds of this. Then I put the video again on the next slide, but play from this time to this time. And then a same video. So each slide, I'm just focusing on a part of the video.
I'll have to look more
Yeah,
into how to do
settings.
that.
Like I've inserted a lot of videos into Google Slides, but I've never seen where it asks you what
Yeah.
part of the video. Can you explain like where that might jump out at us?
Let me go find it real fast, and I'll.
Good question.
So whoever it was Julie. I'm looking for you in the screen. I had a museum project for East Asia last year. So instead of teaching that unit, I actually had the kids teach themselves. And we went through each of the standards and came up with ways to create like a museum exhibit to demonstrate that standard. And I split them up into groups, and then they each made their own piece. So I can share that. And then I did that choice board this year, which might help.
Thank you.
I've also done the museum for a day kind of thing where they could like curate through like whatever household items like at the beginning of the year as we're introducing culture. It would be kind of fascinating to do like as we study different cultures with like certain set parameters of what they could do, at least for my 11 to 13, sometimes 14-year-olds. So I'm going to share some resources right now from Asia as we're waiting. So a bunch of websites and materials. Okay, so the first one is something I created. It's a sway. It has a lot of videos. This is from Jordan and refugees through Jordan since the 1948 partition. And it's in the Google Drive, and it's also on my ThingLink. A lot of Menti activities, videos, and discussions that I can post momentarily. This next link is my social studies, and if you just go to livebinders.com and look up social studies, the first one that comes up should be mine, or just find me under G Valdez. And you'll see like some of the links don't work now due to Flash, but I have a lot of different assignments and activities throughout. So for example, right now I was curating stuff on the Middle East and in Asia, some of the projects that I went on. And LiveBinders is a good place if you're looking, let's say you have like 5 or 6 things and you want the kids to just guide their way through the internet. If you go to ThingLink, here's an example of a ThingLink. This is the one I was mentioning that I did in Jordan. You'll see I have videos and questions, political cartoons, mapping, graphing, digital tours, that same one that I just showed you. Video tour, photo tour of Times to Jordan. Comparing, contrasting religions. And then, here's one ThingLink that I did when I went to China and Taiwan for summer. So comparing and contrasting and video tours of China and Taiwan, also in ThingLink. And under the free ThingLink and LiveBinder, you can post a lot of stuff. Once you start posting videos beyond links, that's what's going to kill the data. But as long as you're providing links to it, I have hundreds on all of these different. Here's Symbaloo. I shared this on Twitter and in the group Symbaloo. And basically Symbaloo is kind of like a LiveBinder. And basically you just post tiles, but the tiles link to other websites. This one is focused all in Asia. And then a lot of you are mentioning about geography, resources. And so this one has like videos and just kind of like skill builder type of activities kind of thing. And I'll post them in the Facebook and on Twitter as well.
I'm going to share my screen so you how to do that video. So I inserted the video here, and when you click on it, there's these options over here, and you can set the time of how much you want of that video to play. So I broke it up each time to kind of, you know, space it out a little bit. And what I did with this unit was I had them do sketch notes of the story, like Gilgamesh and Enkidu are, you know, walking through the woods and you kill the beast and stuff. And so this video is really like 12 minutes long, but I got it down to about no more than 2 or 3 minutes a slide. And this is actually in the drive if you want the whole slide deck.
I'm sorry, did I miss how you broke the video into pieces?
When I video, this under format options, this video playback over here on the right, I can put in the exact time of the video clip I want. So I really use the same video, I just set it to different times of the video for each slide. So this one starts at 2:32, this one's a minute.
So I didn't see it the first time because my little Zoom camera was over it. Like, so we're over it. So I was like, I don't know what she did. But if I move my Zoom picture around, then I can see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I see it now. So you clicked format options.
So I inserted a video,
Okay.
and you know, you got the link from wherever. And then when I
Gotcha.
click on the video, these format options open over here. So I can do playback and I can do other stuff, but I clipped it down each time.
Okay.
That's amazing. I don't know how I've never seen that. Thank you.
Yeah, I've never seen that either. Hmm.
Anyone else is with resources to share something that they're working on or particular unit?
Well, I'll share that I feel like with this distance learning, at least a lot of teachers at my school and just my own children, their school, it's a lot of like, hey, go to this website and read this and answer the questions. It grades it for you, and I can keep track of how good you are at it. But there's not like a whole lot of interaction like there would be in class. It's like read, answer the question, read, answer the question. And that is not how my classes run.
Right.
So to provide like some normalcy for them, I've looked at some of my HyperDocs, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with. Teachers Give Teachers, but if you've never used a HyperDoc and you want to, I mean, it's an amazing website with so many creative free resources from generous teachers. And I like to kind of customize them to fit my needs. But I've just been kind of going through a HyperDoc. Now, I'm not going to be like, do this HyperDoc and just send it out to them. I've kind of like broken it apart into pieces. So they're not working off one document where I could be there to troubleshoot them through it. But I'm taking, okay, here's the explain part. Let's do this on Monday. And here's the apply part. Let's do this on Tuesday. But I feel like they still need what would have been just natural in my class, like a creative outlet. And so we're studying World War I right now, and we have gone through what the trenches were like, and just that new way of war, a new way of fighting, and what's trench foot and what's shell shock. And so at the end of this week, so tomorrow, they are either going to write a letter home, because I feel like that's like creative. Like I told them to pretend that you're a soldier in the trenches and write a letter home telling your family what you're experiencing. And a lot of them are really excited about this, they can create a video. So like, I know they wouldn't have had like selfie cameras back then, but they're really excited to like dress up in their living room and like make a trench and it be all dark and they've got their phone in their face. So I'm really excited just to give them that creative outlet. And then today, I hope it works, we're going to try playing Kahoot during our daily chat.
I did that yesterday.
How'd it go? I'm nervous.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Okay. I'm trying to keep things like fun. Like
Today,
I would try to make them in class.
Today I'm going to try Gimkit.
Oh, those are
Oh,
great.
nice.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's just-
Michelle,
I really
that,
like Gimkits.
World War I simulation that you were just talking about that you're having them do. Did you type anything up with that? Because I'm department head and I would love to share that with my 6th grade teachers.
Sure, I have
we teach
to,
that same era.
I have the HyperDoc that I got from Teachers Give Teachers, and then I modified it. So you could look on Teachers Give Teachers and get the original. I kind of like made it more organized and easier to flow. And if I were doing it in person, like there's like one link they click on to study all these sources, and then they answer questions about the sources, and another link. But if I were doing it in person, then I would have all the sources posted throughout the hallway, and they would like go on a scavenger hunt for the sources to find the answers. It would be a lot more interactive like that. So I can share the HyperDoc that I've adapted. It's not originally my own. Let me write that down. Where are we sharing these resources? Do you want me to just share a link in the chat?
That would be great, or you could send them to the Drive, and I'll post them to the Drive as well.
Okay.
Social Studies Network Drive.
Now, again, it's not my own, and I don't remember. A lot of times those Teachers Give Teachers docs, they don't put their name on stuff. And so I don't want to, like, you know, put it off as if it's mine. But yeah, if you do use the HyperDocs, they just ask that you leave the name of the original creator if they put it on there. But
I'm just concerned that, like, throughout America, we have a lot of people essentially rushing to do digital worksheets. And, you know, worksheets fine every now and then, but like you mentioned, like the creativity and getting the juices out there and actually doing something beyond just A, B, C, D kind of thing.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Michelle, you said you're just taking it apart like piece by piece so that they have smaller chunks of it.
Yeah, do you mind? I can show you guys the original HyperDoc and then show you how I assigned it on Google Classroom just so they could, you know.
Yeah.
I was afraid if I just sent them a HyperDoc, since I'm not there to like, okay, first you're going to do this, and you're going to go to this link. I
was just thinking with our time limit, whether or not that would be something we could add in just for some creativity beyond the program that they can Google answers to.
Oh, yeah. That's been another concern. I feel like this week, since that's what I'm doing, like there's really no opportunity for cheating. Like it's just because it's, you know, coming up with their own stuff, their own creativity.
Yeah, that's what my kids are used to doing. So this program that we're doing is kind of killing me a little bit.
Especially because, you know, they're all into Zoom now. And I don't know about you guys, but our district wants us to use Google Meet from now on, no more Zoom.
Same.
And so when I post the link for the chat room, they can go on it whenever they want, and there's no ending it. And so after we end class, they can get on there and be like, number 1 is C, number 2 is D. You know? And so I'm just like, we gotta have a different way of assigning work then, because they're not gonna learn anything, you know. But I'll look for that HyperDoc so you guys can see it.
Okay, so anyone need any resources, like any particular lesson that you would like something, or maybe one of us has or actually can find something that you need examples of or resources for that?
Is there a way to do like a Google form vote of topics, and then here's a link of stuff? Because I was kind of looking through the shared drive for stuff about South Africa specifically, and it was kind of just general Africa. Because I think we're all over the world right now with area.
Yeah, that's a great point. And there are a couple of teachers in the group from South Africa. So they've emailed me, I can email out them like, hey, what are some of the resources that you have, particularly, not that you have to be from South Africa to have, but obviously they'd have additional insight kind of thing. For example, like in Australia, when for years everyone was teaching about rabbits or the Great Barrier Reef, when there's so much more beyond rabbits or Great Barrier Reef. So we actually get in a little bit more in depth.
I can share this document. It was shared with me from a teacher. Let me share my screen real quick. But it's a different way for students to show their learning in a creative way. And once I show it to you guys, I'll share it so you can put it in the drive too. All right, can you see my screen? Okay, so this is just the students get to choose how they show their work. So it's a menu board here with lots of different creative ways to show their work. And in the directions here, it's like choose one per topic that you're studying, and they can't repeat the same one again. So the next time they do to show some learning, they have to choose a different platform. So I thought this was kind of neat and gives students some choice in how they're showing their learning. And so I'll share this with you guys. I don't know who made it. They found it online somewhere and shared it with me. So I'll share that with you guys too.
Okay, great.
Gabriel, just real quick, I've been adding stuff into the chat as people have plugged that in, and then Jessica and I are going to make a copy of that, and I can get that to you. That way, some of those links that are in there, you can get it back out to people so that they can have it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, so what are the top 3 apps or websites that you're using right now in thinking about specifically what you're going to teach?
I have to go, but thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate all your help.
Likewise, thank you.
Hey guys, this is Abby. Gabe, one of the things that I'm really interested in doing is trying to team up with Language Arts, my Language Arts counterpart on my team, and to find ways to do cross-curricular, connection, I guess. So I love the idea of using, I guess, like visual story prompts, writing prompts that will enhance and work with what Kara on my team is trying to promote and get across. And it's a great way to do it for the review of topics that we've already discussed. I wanted to share one other thing this morning, right before this chat or meeting. My team met with about 30 of our 6th graders, and our language arts teacher, Kara, she had the story prompt dice. Is that what they're called? Like the little images or whatever. So she hosted this meeting, and she called on, the way she organized it, she called on a student who in the chat section got an answer correct to a question she posed. So she asked, what is it when you have a non-human object, but you give it human qualities? And so, all of a sudden the chat blows up with our kids' personification. And that was the way she started it. So the first person to answer got to roll the dice. And it just turned into this great writing activity that was such a connector. And I know there are ways that we could modify that and use that in social studies for our different content areas, but it was really, really powerful. And the fact that it included teachers from across our team, even one of our SPED teachers came in for it. And we all, had shout outs and we shared stories. It was really cool.
That is awesome, having that cross-curricular support. I wish, especially with all subjects, but we should have it in science or English and social studies.
Well, I know our school was highly encouraged to utilize the Newzilla free edition that's going on right now. Our English teachers were really excited when the history teachers I know my department is being encouraged to do that. None of our standards line up with our English teachers for any of my grade levels. So we're focusing more on the skill work of it all to help them out. We've played around with it. We even made a couple of tutorial videos to help the kids get on and how to annotate. And it's amazing what's on there. And as soon as they log in, they are to take this reading skills test if they haven't already logged in. And so from a differentiated perspective, you just have to assign the article and Newzilla will automatically level it to them. So then you hit all your differentiation marks, and it's really, we played around on it, and it's free right now. So I've used that as much as possible because it's exceptionally expensive otherwise.
I've just tried to put little things in that are math and English. So like I do a lot with weather data because my grade really struggles with percentages. So like I was trying to do percentages of the temperature increases and decreases and having to show their equations, and use a lot of the Weather Channel data for, you know, certain cities and stuff. But it's just very small things. And then I've been trying to do who, what, where, why of articles because they don't seem to pull out that kind of information and summarize very well. It's not a tool, it's just like a small task. I gave them an article about child slaves in Ghana last week. You know, who, what, when, where, and why.
Is anyone
I don't know
having-
that this, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to know if anyone was having to use Exploros. I'm in Texas, and since it's free right now, our district is mandating that we do one Exploros lesson a week. But for 6th grade social studies, a lot of it is group activities. And you really can't do that with distance learning. So I didn't know if anybody else had used Exploros before or what they did in this instance with the distance learning.
I haven't assigned it, but my son had an assignment from it yesterday. And then on the group assignment or the group work, he could just see what the other students in his group were posting, and then he would add to that.